You are listening to the Learn English Through Football podcast. Hello everyone and welcome to the show for fans of football who want to improve their English. My name is Damien and I am in a warm London a couple of days after Tottenham's win in the Europa League final. Great days indeed. Now, I wonder how Damon is over in Japan.
Hello, Damien. I'm doing really well over here in Tokyo. It's a little bit cooler. It's been hot this week, so the cool weather is welcome. And I've been enjoying watching the football this week too, as I'm sure you have. Congratulations to Tottenham. Let me just give you my congratulations. You must be over the moon. I'm sure we will hear about the game a little more later in the show, but tell me, how was it? How did you feel when you were watching it?
Well, it was a wonderful evening. We went to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to watch the final on big screens, along with thousands of other Spurs fans, which meant the atmosphere was great. 17 long years without a trophy. The trophy drought has been ended for many clubs this season, like Newcastle in the Carabao Cup and Crystal Palace in the FA Cup and Bologna winning their first trophy in 51 years. So it was an amazing feeling for all Spurs fans.
Marvelous stuff.
Hola a todos. Estáis escuchando languagecaster.com.
Yes, you are listening to LanguageCaster, and that message was in Spanish. And we are going to have more stingers or messages throughout the show in different languages. So which ones can you recognize? Don't worry if you don't know them. We'll give you the answers at the end of the show. And here's another one for you. And I will give you a clue. This language is spoken in South America.
Você está escutando languagecaster.com.
Right, what do we have on the show today, Damien?
Well, we are going to look at some language from the Europa League final with the phrase off the line after a magnificent goal line clearance from Spurs defender Mickey van de Ven. After that, both Damon and myself are going to revisit or look back at our pre-season predictions and see how well or not we did with those predictions for the season. And after that, we will have some predictions from the big games this weekend, including the Women's Champions League final, a huge game from the Premier League, and the German Cup final.
Sie hören gerade languagecaster.com.
So, Spurs finally won a trophy after defeating Manchester United 1-0 in the Europa League final. That's their first in 17 years and their first piece of European silverware since 1984. It was not a very entertaining or high-class game, but there was a lot of tension, especially for me. Spurs scored just before halftime and then defended, sometimes very deeply, for the rest of the game, with some pundits suggesting that they parked the bus. There were one or two nervous moments for the team, but their keeper Vicario made some good saves at the end. But there was one clearance that proved to be a game-winning moment, when the Spurs defender Mickey van de Ven cleared the ball off the line in a dramatic fashion. It was so important, it almost felt like a goal. So, from a Manchester United free kick, a long ball came into the box or penalty area, which the Spurs goalkeeper fumbled, and it fell to the Manchester United striker Højlund, who then headed the ball towards the goal. It seemed to be going in when, out of nowhere, the Dutch defender Van de Ven cleared the ball by volleying it away. It was almost like a scissors kick and looked very dramatic indeed. He cleared the ball off the line, which means that there was no one else behind him, no defender or keeper, and so he had to stop the ball from crossing the line or entering the net. It was a real goal-saving clearance. He cleared the ball off the line.
Ακούτε languagecaster.com.
Right, it's almost the end of the 2024-25 Premier League season. We thought we'd take a look at our predictions from the start of the season. Who did we think would win the title? Which teams did we think would be relegated? And how did we think our favourite teams, Tottenham and Liverpool, would do? Remember that both our teams have won silverware this season. So first up, here's Damon talking about his favourite team, Liverpool, back in August.
A cup run is great for the fans, and I'm hoping Liverpool get some more silverware this season after winning the League Cup last year. Maybe the same again. Top 4 is probably a minimum hope, but with a new manager and no new signings, that will not be easy. If Zubamendi from Real Sociedad had accepted Liverpool's offer, I would be a lot happier. A big signing, a new face, could have changed the atmosphere in the changing room, I think. This squad, despite being full of quite a number of new signings from the previous year or two, may just feel a bit tired. So, I'd take a domestic cup, a last 16 in the Champions League, and a top 4 finish. Okay, let's take a look at my predictions. Well, I wanted a good cup run, and Liverpool gave me one. They went all the way to the final in the League Cup. That's the Carabao Cup, although disappointingly they lost to Newcastle, but I can't complain. That was a cup run. I also thought that it would be good if Liverpool made the last 16 in the Champions League, and they did. They were knocked out in the last 16 by PSG. So again, I can't complain, although I felt pretty bad at the time because Liverpool topped the league in the new Champions League format and looked like they could go all the way. I also said top 4 finish was a minimum hope, and Liverpool didn't disappoint. In fact, we won the league, and I could not have dreamed about winning the league. If you'd have given me that at the beginning of the season, I would have bitten your hand off. So, pretty good predictions for me. All of my predictions came true. How about Damien and his predictions for Tottenham?
I don't think we are going to be challenging for the league title, but maybe with a lucky draw we might do well in the cups. However, I don't think we'll do that well in the Europa League, as it is such a difficult tournament to win with so many games. And of course, these games take place on Thursday nights, which is not ideal at all. If we finish in the top 4, it will be great. And who knows, maybe this year 5th place will guarantee Champions League football if the other English sides do well this season. So, a continuation of the progress from last year, and maybe aiming for 70 plus points and a cup run with a couple of good European nights, I think would be a good season. Well, I was right about one thing. We definitely did not challenge for the title. I also didn't see us doing well in the Europa League, so my predictions for Tottenham at the start of the season were not so accurate at all. And how did we do with predicting the Premier League winners and the relegated teams? Here's the two of us again from back in August. Honestly, I can't see anyone else challenging for the title apart from the top 2 from last year. And so I am going for City to win again.
Yeah, I agree with you. The teams around Manchester City have not done enough to improve, and Manchester City have the experience, the squad and the manager to see them win the long league race. How about relegation? What do you think?
Last season, all 3 promoted sides, that's Burnley, Sheffield United and Luton Town were relegated, which shows the gap between the Premier League and the Championship. So my 3 teams to be relegated are Ipswich, Leicester and Nottingham Forest.
Again, I can't disagree. I might have had Leicester to survive, but if any points are taken off them, they will find it really difficult. I think it will be Ipswich bottom, Nottingham next to bottom, and Leicester taking the last relegation spot. Well, we didn't do so well in the predictions for the champions and the relegated teams. We both thought Manchester City would win pretty easily, and both of us were wrong there. As I've mentioned, of course, Liverpool won, and Manchester City had a very strange season. At one point, they couldn't even buy a win, it seemed. As for the relegated sides, both of us went for Nottingham Forest again. How wrong we were. They have had a fantastic season and are still in the hunt for Champions League football as we speak in this final weekend. We did get Leicester and Ipswich to go down, so overall not bad, but pretty way off with the title winners.
How about you, listeners? What were your pre-season predictions, and were they better than ours?
Vous écoutez languagecaster.com.
Okay, next up we have our predictions for this week. And first up, here's Damon with his thoughts on Nottingham Forest versus Chelsea.
There's a place in the Champions League for the winner of this game, if there is a winner. Now, Forest definitely need a win, while a draw could be enough for Chelsea to secure a spot in the Champions League. I think it will end 1-1 and Nottingham Forest will have to make do with the Europa League. Not a bad tournament. Next, we've got the Women's Champions League final between Barcelona and Arsenal, and I am going for a 2-1 Barcelona win. That would be a three-peat, winning the cup 3 times on the bounce. Arsenal are the underdogs, but I don't see them upsetting the odds and winning this. Talking of underdogs, third tier, Arminia Bielefeld are hoping to pull off a miracle by beating Stuttgart in the DFB Pokal. Again, I'm not going to be romantic and go with the minnow, a 2-1 win for Die Rotten Stuttgart.
Esteu escoltant languagecaster.com.
Thanks for those, Damon. Let's see. I think Forest will beat Chelsea in this Champions League playoff. Maybe 2-1. But I do agree with you on the other 2 games. I think Stuttgart will win the German Cup and Barcelona will be Champions League winners again. What do you think of those predictions? Drop us a line and let us know here at languagecaster.com.
Right, remember to contact us via email at admin@languagecaster.com if you have any questions about the language of football or if you have some feedback on our podcast. Check out our website and explore our football language forum where you can ask and answer questions about all kinds of football language. There's also our huge glossary of football terms with hundreds of expressions, phrases, and cliches about the beautiful game.
Bạn đang nghe languagecaster.com.
Yes, you are listening to Languagecaster, and that message or stinger was in Vietnamese. How about the other ones? Did you guess the languages? We had Spanish and Portuguese from Brazil at the start, followed by German, Greek, French, and Catalan. Well done if you recognize any of those. And of course, if you'd like to send on another stinger in your own language, we'd love to hear from you. So on today's show, we looked at the phrase off the line, which is used when describing a clearance that prevents a goal, which came from the 2025 Europa League final that saw my team Tottenham win. Let us know if you hear any of the phrases that you've heard this week, or if you have similar expressions in another language that you know.
Enjoy all of the football this weekend. Ta-ra!
Yes, enjoy all the football this week, and we'll see you again early on in the week with our weekly football expression, and then later on in the week with another football language podcast. Bye bye.